Welcome to the channel and thank you very much for checking out today's video, because I'm going to be talking to you all about the transition in the golf swing. There's a lot been said about what kind of starts the transition. Where should it be the lower body, should it be the upper body, how do the arms move into the transition, how do the hips move into the transition. So throughout this video I'm going to be clearing up all of your questions on the transition between backswing and downswing. The transition could be one of the most important parts of the golf swing. If you get that wrong, it really does dictate whether the golf ball slices, hooks, or whether maybe you mishit it in terms of a fat or a thin. And it's very difficult for a golfer to change that because it's such a split-second movement. And it sometimes goes against what you would naturally think you should do. A lot of golfers will be trying to prevent the ball from slicing off to the right, and to stop the ball going right, you will naturally think about swinging more to the left, which, as a lot of us know now, creates more of a slice. So it's a lot of the time it's fighting your natural instincts in how you're supposed to be swinging the golf club. With my students, I often talk about lowering the arms first, mainly because that's the way we can get the club back on plane on the way down into the golf ball. That's how we deliver the golf club in the correct angle to the golf ball, and that's, as we know again, is a really key move. And sometimes I do kind of overlook what the lower body does, and I do that just purely because we can't think of everything. We can't remember to do everything in that split second. We don't have the time. We physically don't have the time or the brain capacity. As much as we might think we do, we just don't have the brain capacity to be able to do it. So the two moves I'm going to talk to you about first is what the arms do, and then we're going to talk about what the lower body does. And a lot of it is down to pressure. If you've got a good takeaway and backswing, you will have created a lot of pressure at the top of your shoulders as you get to the top of the backswing. You're really going to load it up your shoulders, and that's where a lot of your power is going to come from. You then use that pressure to deliver the club back down into position. So it's not really the old school way of kind of drop it into the slot, slide your hips. I think that's such an old school method of kind of trying to deliver a draw bias golf swing, which often leads to a hook or a shank anyway. That is just the way I was brought up, and we just don't want to do that anymore. So we've got to be really thinking about the pressure in the shoulders. Once you've got the lower body rotating and you've got the arms up, you're in a pressurized situation, which is a great place to be. But you've now got to deliver that golf club, and you've got to pull that pressure down in front of your chest. And as you're doing that, we've got to be able to pressurize the lower body correctly as well. So as we get to the top and we pressurize the arms down, you want to be really kind of rotating into this lead hip. Now, this left, I often say to golfers as well, this left hip needs to start to work over your left foot. There is always going to be an element of movement in terms of where your head goes, in terms of where your body goes. I think the best description I can give of this is when you get to the top of your backswing, you'll feel that you want to get the hip rotation, so your tailbone is working its way out towards the target. But then from this position, you want to work your tailbone towards the target now. So you almost want to move it left towards the target. This has got pressure now into my left side, but it's not only just got pressure laterally, it's got pressure downwards. So I've got that downward motion into the ball from this position. So from here, as the arms start to lower down, you releasing that pressure downwards in front of the chest. I'm also pressuring across into this left side. So if I get into that position now, you should agree that's a relatively strong position. I've got my weight across to my left side, and I've got my arms into position to deliver the club. The most common question I get asked is what moves first, and they both move together. Remember, the golf swing is happening in probably less than a second, depending on how fast you swing the golf club. So if you get to the top here and you say, okay, what moves first? Well, it doesn't go there and then lower body, and it certainly doesn't go lower body then arms. You haven't got the time for that. You've got to try and dictate to yourself which one do you need to focus on more. And I often think the reason why I do a lot of the tips focusing on the upper body is because a lot of golfers get to the top and they're using the shoulders here, they spin it away from their body. So as they do that, the club leaves the body, and that's how the club starts to work left. So the most common swing fault I see is the slice, but I want you to try and get the feeling that you're trying to keep the golf club into front of your chest, so you've got a really good delivery position. So by doing that, we are maybe losing a little bit of power because we're not focused on your lower body as much, but that's when afterwards we come to that point. Get the golf club on plane first, get the delivery position to the ball correct, then we add the power, okay? So the question of which part goes first, the answer is they both go together. As I get to the top of the backswing, as I start to lower, I'm in there. Notice how this left hip, I've not gone that way, I've not slid it up to the left or to the front, I've almost crushed it down into my left heel. So as I get to the top of the backswing, you'll see my left hip move over my left foot, my weight now is into my left heel, and then I can rotate. So I'm using the ground force for power. Oh, and that's how we get the strike. So I was able to deliver the club down into position, and then I was able to drive into that left side. And a lot of golfers, I haven't got the rotation, I haven't got the flexibility in the rotation. And that's again fine, because if you do struggle with your flexibility, maybe you've got a bad back, or I've spoken to a few people that have got kind of like a fused back, and lots and lots of people have had back operations and can't do this type of movement. It doesn't matter. You get to the top of the backswing, you deliver that pressure down and you deliver that pressure left, and even if you finish there without the full rotation, you've used the pressure in your body, you've used that pressure to come down into the golf ball, and that's how you're going to get the strike. You're getting golf ball first, you're getting your pressure down to the ground. See that finish? It's a small finish, it's a shortened follow through position. What you would have to do for a golfer that does have a slightly more limited flexibility or a fusion in the back, you have to get a bit faster with your hands. You have to find another way to create power, because the way of spinning through the ball with speed is not going to be the one for you. But there's other methods within the golf swing to create power. Slight digression there. That's for the golfers that feel that they worry about this rotation, because this tip of today is not about your rotation through the golf ball, it's about your transition. So from here, we're feeling the club pull down. Use that pressure, get it back in front of your chest there. Get this left side, get this lead side, pressure left, okay? And then do what you can do, whether it's finishing in this position or finishing all the way round. This next bit is dependent on your flexibility, but what you need to be able to do is get the pressure down into your left side and deliver the golf club on a straight path relative to target. And they're 3 of the best shots I think I've ever hit in my life. Oh. By the way, I'm at Saunton Golf Club down here on the southwest of England, and as you can see, it is absolutely phenomenal. Go back into the library and check out all 18 holes vlog. What can I score around this incredible links? It is beautiful. But if you've got any questions on today's tip video, please do drop them in the comment section below. I hope this has made sense in regards to what part of your golf swing moves, what part of your body moves first in your transition, and how does it move. You're using the pressure down, you're getting the club, and your checkpoint, as I said before, is getting the club back in front of your chest. You're getting the checkpoint of your lead hip over your left side. You're not working up through the golf ball, so we need to get away from the early extension, and if anything, we're more sitting down into your lead side, and that's how your pressure gets across there. So I hope all of that makes sense. If it doesn't, fire away with the questions, and I will see you in a future video.